If you go take a look at the Sqairz website, they've claimed that these shoes have helped golfers improve their swing speed by up to 2.5 miles per hour, adding an additional 8 yards of distance. So did I see those kind of benefits out on the course? Well, in this video today, I'm going to give you my full review of the brand new Sqairz Speed Golf Shoes. Now, these retail in the US for around $200. So what we're going to do in this video today is run through the specific details of this shoe, and I'm going to let you know how they fit and feel on feet. And I've used them on the golf course several times now, so I can give you my personal opinion as to whether or not I felt that they actually did improve my distance and accuracy. Now, before we go any further in this video, I've got to tell you about the sizing of these shoes. I'm usually a UK 9, and in these I went down to an 8.5, and I got a much better fit by going down that half a size. The fit of these shoes is quite unique, and that's because you've got a lot of room in that toe box area because of this square philosophy that they've used in these shoes. The team at Sqairz believe that you should have actually a nice amount of room here in the toe box area. They don't want to squash your feet up in the toe box. They want you to be able to kind of splay your toes out. Splay, is that the right word? And the whole point of that is that if you can have a comfortable foot sitting naturally in the toe box area, then you're going to have better balance as well as a better ability to really put as much force and power into your golf shots. Now, I'll let you know shortly as to how I actually found these golf shoes out on the course and whether or not I did see any performance benefits when I wore these shoes. But for now, what I would say is that it is a very, very comfortable place to be in that toe box area. It is nice to have a lot of room there. You've also got a decent amount of padding around the heel and ankle area as well as a decently padded tongue. In terms of comfort underfoot, I must say that actually they're not necessarily the softest golf shoes out on the course underfoot. Now, Sqairz have kind of done that on purpose, really, because they believe that if a golf shoe is too soft underfoot, then you're not going to get the power and the stability that you need out on the course. Now, that is a big, bold claim from Sqairz, especially when a lot of the leading manufacturers are going a very different way and are actually trying to make the golf shoes as comfortable as possible. These, compared to those brands there, feel quite firm underfoot. I wouldn't say that it's uncomfortable, but they're definitely not going to give you that soft, squidgy, cloud-like feeling underfoot. One other thing to mention in terms of the fit and comfort of these on foot, and that's that they're not necessarily the most breathable pair of golf shoes that I've ever tried. Now, when you see them here, you've got a hefty amount of this synthetic upper material here, and you haven't really got any kind of ventilation holes in there. So on really, really hot summer days, especially if you're going to be out walking the course, then your feet might get a little bit hot in these shoes. However, on the flip side, in terms of the waterproofness of these shoes, these are 100% totally waterproof. And I don't just mean from the upper, but actually you can see here that if you pour water over the tongue and laces section of these shoes as well, because of the gusset that these shoes have got at the bottom of the tongue, then actually no water is going to get through onto your sock. So if you are worried about your feet getting wet out on the course, well, you don't really need to worry with these ones because these are some of the most waterproof golf shoes that you can currently buy on the market today. In terms of the looks of these shoes, and I've got to say that of the whole Sqairz range, I think these are my favourite that they've made so far, and I think they are the closest looking pair of golf shoes to something maybe you might find from another manufacturer. Not to say that they don't look unique, they certainly do, because you've still got this very unique square looking toe box area, and these are still quite a big, bulky, chunky pair of golf shoes. I've got to say that I do actually prefer the look of this Speed design compared to the Sqairz 2020. As you can see here, I just definitely like the colorways and the lines they're using on these shoes compared to what were pretty much the original versions of the Sqairz golf shoes. So I think the team at Sqairz have actually done a really good job in terms of evolving this golf shoe, maybe to suit the eye a little bit more to a few more golfers out there. Taking a closer look, you can see that you've got this hologram printed material there out on the outside of the shoe, and you've also got it on the inside as well. I've got to say that I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of look, if I'm being entirely honest. It kind of feels that the shoe is maybe trying a little bit too hard. In my opinion, for $200, I would say that these still haven't quite got the premium look that maybe I'd want when spending that much on a pair of golf shoes. However, the focus of these shoes isn't really on the look, to be honest. It's more about what these shoes can do for you and offer you out on the golf course. Now, if you do like the look of these shoes and you're thinking about buying a pair, then I have included my affiliate link down below, where if you use my code GolfGuy21, you can actually get an additional discount on these shoes. You've probably spotted on the laces as well that you've got the unique unique stay put lace system there. So you can see that you've got these little silicone squares on the laces, which mean that they stay nice and secure. And I've got to admit, I didn't need to do double knots in these. A single knot was absolutely fine, and my laces never come undone with these shoes. Taking a quick look at the outsole, and you can see here that you've actually now got this kind of translucent TPU rubber outsole instead, compared to the previous version where you just had quite a plain looking rubber outsole with the house spikes in it as well. You've got a big chunky TPU heel counter at the rear of the shoe there. And another thing I would say is the materials that they've used in this shoe mean that there's not much give in this shoe at all. So it is nice and stable, as you can see there. If you go take a look at the Sqairz website, then you can see details to independent studies that they've posted where they've claimed that these shoes have helped golfers improve their swing speed by up to 2.5 miles per hour, adding an additional 8 yards of distance. Now, it doesn't say how many golfers they tested. It just says that that's a range from a +2 handicap to an 18 handicap. So did I see those kind of benefits out on the course? Well, not really, if I'm being entirely honest. Now, unfortunately, I haven't really got the facilities to actually strictly test that. I'd need access to a launch monitor, and personally, I'd want to hit hundreds upon hundreds of golf shots. I wouldn't just want to rely on a couple of shots that I hit over a couple of rounds. That being said, out on the golf course, I did use these for several rounds, and I didn't really see a noticeable increase in my accuracy or my distance. What I would say is that they felt nice and comfortable out on the course with that wide foot base there. It does feel quite unique, but I also did notice that they're not necessarily the most comfortable golf shoes underfoot. So where I walk the golf course all the time and don't really use a golf buggy, personally, I think I'd rather go for comfort over the potential additional performances that these shoes claim to be able to give you. Yes, potentially there is some really good technology here that can be built on, and maybe in the future this will be the way that golf shoes start to go, with a focus on having more space in your toe box and perhaps being a little less comfortable than what we're used to. But let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Would you rate function and performance over comfort and looks? I just want to talk about the grip of these shoes as well, because you can see with the outsole that you've got 3 spikes in the forefoot and 3 in the heel area as well as all of these rubber lugs surrounding the spikes in this circular pattern. Now, I said this on the previous version of Sqairz shoes that I tested, and this version had the exact same outsole design. And for me, this didn't give me enough grip that I would want from a pair of spiked golf shoes. There are a couple of times that I did actually slip in these golf shoes. I think I've even got it on video here. You can see that my rear foot just kind of slips away a little bit when I go to really transition and load up that rear foot. Now, that could totally be my bad technique, but generally if a pair of golf shoes don't have quite enough grip for me, that's where I slip, on that rear foot area. It's happened to me with the Puma Ignite shoes, and it's happened with these as well. So for me personally, I just think that actually these little nubs here are maybe just too raised, and I just think it's taken away from the traction that these spikes actually provide. Now, the team at Sqairz are saying that this outsole design is giving the maximum amount of traction that you can get and really increasing the points of contact that you have with the floor out on the golf course. So let me know what you think of the new Sqairz Speed Golf Shoe. If you are in the market to buy a brand new pair of golf shoes, then why not check out my top 5 spikeless golf shoes of 2021.